If you're a sci-fi fan, then this episode is for you.
Sunil and Vinny yet again mistake something they see or hear as something else. As we've seen in episodes like Door Jammed and A Day at the Museum, these two have been known to overreact at times, but that doesn't ruin the overall quality of this episode. I mean, the comedy is pretty good, and the imagination of the pets does stay consistent throughout the episode and does a call back to the episode's stand-up stinker.
Once again, the imaginations of the pets come through and deliver some pretty great parodies of the greatest sci-fi tropes. From cow/panda tipping, to the abduction fear, to the tinfoil hats, and the good old body snatcher trend. The way this episode handled the sci-fi elements is downright hilarious, making this easily one of the funniest episodes that the show has put out. This is especially true regarding the ending, and I will only say this about it. You remember that alien costume that Zoe, Sunil, and Penny Ling made for Stand-Up Stinker? Let's just say they were a little more spot on than they thought.
The B-plot involving Mrs. Twomley trying to get more business in the shop does come off as strange, since the previous episode Sleeper shows that they are swarming with customers, so there's really no need to advertise.
Well, knowing Fisher Biscuit, any competition is bad competition. Remember that ridiculous delivery machine he made for last season?
Yeah, good point.
Besides, Twombly and Biscuit have had a serious beef between the two of them since season 1, so I don't think that either are willing to forgive each other. So, when she realized she got duped, her response did make some sense.
So in the end, the pets find out there are no aliens, and Blythe actually stays level-headed throughout the episode, unlike in the hedgehog with the plastic bubble.
That was kinda funny though.
Yeah, but kinda only gets you so far. The episode was much funnier because Blythe could act as a polar opposite to the overreacting pets.
Yeah, good point.
The only thing missing from this episode was a song.
Maybe next time around.
Hey look, another episode that reinforces the continuity of the Season 2 finale. This ought to be interesting. When Mona Autumn's assistant is on temporary leave, Blythe volunteers to take over for the day in order to gain a better insight to the fashion business. Meanwhile, Zoe and Russell are invited to a photoshoot with another pet named Tangier, who constantly attempts to sabotage the other pets to stay in the spotlight.
Oh joy, a Mona Autumn episode. I never liked this woman, at all. She never listens to what others have to say, she holds everyone to near impossible expectations, and she drives the people that she relies on to their breaking point, putting them in a position to potentially sabotage her. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes an appearance in Horrible Bosses 3.
Didn't you say in the Season 2 countdown that the fashion industry needs to be more demanding in order to produce quality?
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between being demanding and borderline slave labor, which I'm getting the feeling is pretty much all that she had Blythe do throughout the entire episode until she realized that Blythe can actually help when things go south. This was probably when the episode became good, at least for me anyway. It was able to showcase Blythe's ability to work well under pressure, and Mona did realize that Blythe did have some real potential to work in the fashion industry, which she probably should have learned back at the expo.
This episode was a workout for Blythe and shows just how much work she is willing to give for her fashion and a friend. Pushing a character to a near breaking point is always a fun dilemma to see them go through. It was a great callback to the Pet Expo, and while Russell did have fun doing a photo shoot, he still has difficulty with being photographed. This was another okay episode with the focus being on only 2 pets instead of all 7 of them. The episode also gave some more screen time to Mona's pet Cairo, and she did help out Blythe when she was being overwhelmed with a workload, as well as helping her out in the end.
Overall, I do agree. This was still a decent episode for Blythe's character growth, and did serve as a nice change of pace from the standard episode structure.
The subplot with Russell and Zoe revealing Tangier sabotaging the photo shoot was the only part of the episode I wasn't that much interested in.
Come to think of it, it feels as though Tangier wasn't really needed in the episode at all. They could have cut him out completely and it would have had a better focus. Talk about wasted potential. Not gonna lie, I choked up a little bit while watching this episode. After Blythe attempts to have a personal day, she goes down to LPS to discover that the pets from all over downtown city have come to her for advice about the problems they're having. She then comes across Jebby, a Korean ferret that Blythe wants to help out but cannot understand. This leads to one of the best episodes of the season.
This was a remarkable way to challenge Blythe's ability to communicate with animals, as she comes across a situation that even I am flabbergasted over. The idea of a pet speaking Korean offers a great insight into cultural diversity among the show. This is also one of the starting points to Youngmi playing a major role in this season, which comes back later in the secret recipe.
One complaint that I've noticed regarding this episode is how a lot of people are ticked off at Blythe for wanting to spend a day with herself without any responsibilities, feeling that it's counterintuitive considering how responsible she usually is. That Disney princess-style song didn't really help either. Well, consider this. Blythe is not only a student in her school's honors program, but she also works part-time at LPS and full-time on her fashion designs. And all the while, making sure that the biscuits don't drive LPS out of business. She spends most of her days balancing her fashion career, her school career, her personal life, and her secret life at the same time. I honestly don't blame her for wanting a date to herself. Frankly, she needs one.
But Blythe wasn't the only one with a great story arc in this episode. The pet storyline involved Russell and Zoe taking over for Blythe while she helps Jebby. After letting the attention go to their heads, Sunil has to step in to calm everyone down. I can watch that scene of Sunil giving the best advice to everyone again and again. He brings up an interesting point that while there is someone out there that can help you, they can only guide you in the right direction, but your problems can only be fixed on your own. What were your highlights?
Well, I guess it would have to be Jebby. When I was younger, my family used to move around a lot for my dad's job, mostly to foreign countries, which meant that I was often in Jebby's situation growing up. I know what you're gonna say, you got to live around the world growing up? So jealous. Well, to that I say this. Have you ever been separated from your family in a country you've never been to that uses a language that you don't understand? For those of you who don't know what it's like, it sucks. Because of this, I had to use a similar solution that Blythe used in order to get adjusted and get the help that I needed. Jebby and I both know what that's like, leading to her becoming my favorite one-shot character so far. So anyway, final thoughts?
This episode featured a brilliant obstacle for Blythe, a well-executed solution, and great character interactions with the pets in the shop, making this easily one of the best episodes we've had so far.
Well, that sums up my position pretty well, so next episode.